You know, man doesn't stand forever his nullification. Once there will be a reaction. And I see it setting in. You know, when I think of my patients, they all seek their own existence and to assure their existence against that complete atomization into nothingness or into meaninglessness. Man cannot stand a meaningless life.
Carl Jung wasn't just a psychologist, he was a philosopher of the soul, a seeker of truth buried deep within the human experience. He understood that growth isn't a linear climb toward some polished ideal of perfection. It's a messy, often painful journey through the shadowy depths of our own psyche. It's about confronting the very things we try to avoid, the things we most fear. Jung believed that transformation happens not when we avoid the darkness, but when we walk straight into it. When we meet the parts of ourselves that we disown, the parts we hide from the world and even from ourselves, because they feel too painful, too vulnerable, too imperfect. When someone turns you down, it drags your shadow into the spotlight. Suddenly, all your self-doubts come alive. You become 5-year-old again, desperate to be seen, chosen, and loved. But here's where the alchemy begins, because once the shadow is exposed, it can be integrated. The lover who left, the ones who walked away when you needed them most, they are not just a source of pain. They are a symbol of unrequited desire, of your longing for connection, your hunger for intimacy, and the places where you still haven't learned to fill those gaps within yourself. And even though it hurts, this is an invitation to descend into your own underworld, to meet the exiled parts of your psyche and say, you're allowed to exist. Click the subscribe button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for your support. Rejection doesn't just hurt, it humiliates. It exposes the child within you who thought, if I'm good enough, I'll be loved. But love, real love, demands something more dangerous, that you be real. Even when it's inconvenient, and especially when it's messy. But let's not sugarcoat it. The moment of rejection does feel like death. It feels like the universe, with all its vastness, closed a door right in your face and left you standing on the other side. You feel the ground shift beneath you, like your entire sense of self is unmooring. The panic rises up, fast, like a tidal wave crashing over you. You scramble for control, for something, anything, to hold on to. You bargain, trying to convince yourself that maybe you misread the signs, maybe you can still make them see you, maybe if you just say the right thing or look the right way, they'll change their mind. But if you stay with it long enough, you realize something. Rejection is not proof of your inadequacy. It's the soul's way of course-correcting a life built on lies. Because if you were accepted for your mask, was that really love? Or was it validation rented from people who never knew you? According to Carl Jung, the moment you stop striving to be accepted is the moment you start becoming someone worthy of acceptance. Not because you're performing, but because you're real. There's a paradox here. The more you hide your flaws, the more rejection you attract. But the moment you own your chaos, you become magnetic. Why? Because people are starved for authenticity. They want someone who stumbles and owns up to it, someone who chooses the dangerous path, who dares to feel it, who dares to face it, to let the rejection break them open instead of shut them down. That is the path of the warrior. Carl Jung said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. That's what rejection does. It drags you into the darkness and forces you to look. The next time you're rejected, don't ask, what's wrong with me? Ask, what part of me just got exposed that I was afraid to love? That's where your work begins. The world tells you to move on, to get over it. But moving on without integration is spiritual amnesia. It's how we become hollow adults, always chasing, never arriving. No, don't move on. Move inward. Let the grief touch you. Let the anger teach you. Let the loneliness reveal the parts of you still clinging to fantasy. the fantasy that love means comfort. True love is not comfort, it's transformation, and transformation requires fire. So burn. Let the rejection ignite every unhealed wound, every childhood trauma, every lie you told yourself about your worth. Let it rage through you like a storm. And when it's done, you'll see the parts of you that survived are not the weakest. They're the realest. That's individuation. That's the alchemy of pain, turning shame into power, abandonment into autonomy, heartbreak into depth of character. And then something miraculous happens. You stop fearing rejection, not because it stops hurting, but because it stops defining you. You realize that being chosen by the wrong people is not a compliment, and being rejected by them is a liberation. You begin to walk differently, speak differently, love differently, not from a place of need, but from a place of truth. And people feel it. Some will hate it, some will be drawn to it, but all will recognize this is someone who's been to the underworld and came back with eyes that see. And that is rare. Because most people never make it past the rejection. They stay there, build shrines to their pain, rewrite the story to make themselves the villain or the victim. But you chose a different story. One where rejection is not the end, but the beginning. Not a punishment, but a portal. Not something to be avoided, but something to be transmuted. Nietzsche called it the eternal recurrence. The idea that every moment, especially the painful ones, are not random, but essential. That to live fully is to say yes to it all, to affirm even the wounds, even the rejections, and even the betrayals. Would you do it all again? If the answer is yes, then you are no longer a victim of rejection. You are the alchemist, the one who turned what was meant to break you into the very thing that made you whole. That's the secret. The strongest people you have met have all been rejected, but they didn't let it close their hearts. They let it deepen them, sculpt them, and edify them. So don't chase closure. Don't beg for an explanation. Sit in the silence. Feel the ache. Let it carve new space within you, and then fill that space with truth. Because once you've tasted the power of not being chosen and survived it, you realize you don't need to be chosen to be enough. You just need to be seen by your own self. That's where the healing begins. Not when someone finally loves you, but when you finally stop abandoning yourself in the name of being lovable. That's your awakening. That's your rebirth. So when you're rejected, don't say, "Why me?" Say, "Thank you," because now you begin.